Hello, hello, it's me, Janette. How are you? Hope you've been well. Hope your week has been going amazing. January is halfway. Oh no, it's almost over, which I cannot believe. It's crazy how fast time is flying. So today's video is a little bit different, and it's actually I'm going to say it's a work with me video. And this is an assignment that I didn't have enough time to complete at work, so I just brought it home, and it all worked out because I figured I would just film the process. So recently, last week, Helen Griffin of Simply Made Crafts launched an album collection. So there are mini album dies to create different size mini albums with different like pockets and waterfall features and pockets, and I already said that, sorry, and tags and like little pull out elements, and it's really just a really cool collection. So I had to spruce up Helen's she made this mini album, and I just had to spruce it up with pictures and just little like die cuts and ephemera for the photography, the product photography on the Craft Stash website. And Craft Stash is an e-commerce store that sells crafty supplies, and of course they ship worldwide. And I'll have a link for you below in case you're interested. Now every product, well, most of the products on the Craft Stash website have, you know, like the product photos, but there's also inspiration included so that you know exactly what the products can do. So in this case, it was the dies, and we wanted to feature not just the beautiful albums that you can make with Helen's dies, but also, you know, just give people ideas to how they could decorate their albums once they were complete. And the photos that I'm using are from a recent trip that I took with Lovey. Before Christmas, we were able to spend the weekend in Amsterdam and also Brussels. And it was our first time for both places, and we absolutely fell in love with it. Amsterdam and Belgium are just one of those places that, you know, like I wanted to go, but it was never like on the top of my list. And now, seriously, we had such a great time. They're such beautiful cities, and the food was amazing. Now the things that I'm adding to my layout, so like these little die cuts and ephemera, they're just things that I found in my stash, in my personal stash at home. And I was trying to find colors and things that would match Helen's papers that she chose, so like a purpley, grayish, beigeish kind of theme going on, which was really fun, but also kind of a challenge because I didn't have a lot of things in this color scheme, and so it was just a really big challenge to try to, first of all, to try to find these things that I thought would pair well with Helen's album. Now what really salvaged this project and made it so much easier was my stamped die cuts, and I have a whole load of these. I like to take stamps that I have in my stash and stamp a bunch of scrap papers and then die cut them out with the coordinating dies or just fussy cut them. So this is something that I do pretty regularly. I really wish I did it more. So I'll take all of my scraps in my stash and then I'll just stamp all of the pretty stamps that are in my collection, mostly stamps from work from the magazine cover gifts that are given as freebies sometimes to the employees. So super fun, and it's just something I always love using up scraps in whatever way I can. And so if you have any stamps, in your stash as well as scraps, you know, take a day where you're like binge watching on Netflix and just stamp a bunch of your scrap paper and then either fussy cut the images out or die cut them if you have the coordinating dies. I feel like they're just fun little elements that you can add, not only, well, like to this mini album, but you can use it in journaling and planners, and it's just so fun to have just a nice set of stamped die cuts. Now, in case you're wondering, my pictures were printed on my Works printer, and it's funny because obviously, you know, you only use your Works printer for, you know, assignments for your job pertaining to your job duties. And so I was printing up these pictures because obviously they are for this mini album that I had to turn in with actual photos, you know. And it was just funny because our HR person, who is super nice, they were like standing by the printer when these pictures were coming out. When my prints were coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, this person totally thinks that I'm just using the Works printers for like personal projects, but nothing happened. It just ended up working out. But it's just funny because I'm sure other of my colleagues see all my photos being printed, but seriously guys, they are just for work projects. So as a craft designer, you might think that I craft 24/7, and I wish that was the case, but there's so many like administrative things that are part of my job. And it's funny because like seriously, about 50% of my job is like spreadsheets, which is very surprising, which I wasn't expecting, but I mean, I don't mind. It's just a small price to pay for being a craft designer. Okay, back to the video. So here I'm just adding, I wanted to add, something different to each of these pages on this waterfall / cascade element on the last page of the album. So I'm just trimming everything down, trimming my photos down so that they so that they fit. And then just adding, like I added this heart-shaped paper clip, so not just to hold the photo in place, I'm just gonna end up gluing it later, but just to add like some interest, some fun little details to my album. And then I'm going to add some more photos as well as other like die cuts and ephemera. Now the thing you're going to see about this is that I completely messed up. So when you're working on a waterfall / cascade element in a mini album, you need to make sure that your page flips up properly. So you want to try to center your die cuts and your photos in the very center of the area, like under the score line, and don't glue anything over the score line, because then when your page, your little individual page will not flip upwards, as you'll see in just a bit. I was like, oops, forgot about that. So I just had to trim everything down and make sure that it fit, but it all worked out in the end. Now the album base that I'm decorating, so the album and the little cascade elements and all the pockets and the little pull-out elements and all that, was again made with the Simply Made Crafts album collection dies from Helen Griffin, and I will have those dies linked for you below because they're amazing. You can make so many different sized albums with, like, seriously, endless options of mini albums, and you can make these mini albums really quickly. In case you've ever tried to make a mini album from scratch, they're not complicated, but there is a lot of measuring and scoring and have to be really precise. But with these dies, it just really cuts your work in half. So they're really helpful and useful, and I will have those dies linked for you below in case you're interested in checking them out. And I'm also going to include Helen Griffin's YouTube channel because she's an amazing YouTuber. I really love her tutorials. She's such a sweet person, and I'm so glad to like work so closely with her. And so yeah, in case you're interested in like mini albums or like exploding boxes, she also has an exploding box die, but she does a lot of like 3D projects that are really fun, and she breaks down the steps really easily. So highly recommend that YouTube channel. Now I want to talk a little bit more about my job because I want to encourage you. Now, working in the craft industry has been a dream come true. I am so lucky, beyond blessed, and I've worked with some incredible people. I've met some like of the most creative minds in the world, and I'm so lucky. But I want to encourage you because with when I first started out, it was at Sizzix, and someone there, former employee and a friend, she reached out to me and asked if I was looking for a job. And of course I was, because I was working at an office as an administrative assistant. And so she reached out to me. However, there were so many times when Sizzix was hiring craft designers while I was there, and they were always looking for people. So it would be a good idea to, have a resume ready, have a portfolio ready showing your craft projects if you live within the vicinity of a craft company. So Sizzix is in Lake Forest, California. So if you're anywhere in that area, and you want to do this for a living, where you craft for a living, then, I do recommend that you have, your portfolio ready, have your resume ready, have a nice strong cover letter. And also if you have a YouTube channel or a blog, make sure it's like up to date and you have like great photos and content, and really you up your chances so much. And for the job that I got at Craft Stash, I moved here to England and I was looking for a job, and I don't even know how I came across Practical Publishing, but they were not hiring for my position. But I sent my resume, I sent my blog link. I sent a really nice cover letter, which I reread like a few months later, and I was like, dang, that was some good writing. So yeah, and I sent my YouTube channel links and like links to everything that I had going on, and I got a call for an interview. So it's just one of those things. And even on the Craft Stash website, if you click on the About Us, there is an email address at the bottom where you can submit like your resumes and like reach out. And if you are a good fit, I've seen resumes come through and they will create a position for you if you have the skills that are required, or if they're looking for a particular, not talent, but just a particular person, to fill a particular position. And honestly, you never know. So if you have been thinking about this, then, just go for it and see what happens. You have nothing to lose, and you'll regret if you don't try. All right, so I'm almost done with decorating this mini album, and I'm just gluing everything down, trying to find just the perfect spot for it. Now, at this point in the video, at this point when I was filming, I was really tired. It was really late and I just wanted to get to bed, and I was struggling. I especially struggled with the last page. So what you're seeing is an edited version of everything that I tried just for the last page. I don't know, everything else seemed to come together pretty quickly, but it was just that last page in the waterfall, this little waterfall element that I struggled with. I almost contemplated just not decorating it at all, but I felt like it wouldn't be as cohesive. So thankfully, when things are not going my way, you can always count on a doily. At least I can. So I took a little mini doily and trimmed it in half, and then I pulled out some of my pocket letter printables, which are not just for pocket mail. You could use them for anything. Just cut them out. And I do still have my printables shop, and you can get 10% off with the code Janette's Pal, which I will have. I'll have that all linked for you at the bottom in case you're interested. But I love printables because once you purchase them, once you print them out, and once you download them to your computer, you really have them there forever. They're like an endless, unlimited supply of just like fun papers and design elements for you to use in your projects. And I am done decorating these few pages of the mini album. Now, I didn't have enough time to do the whole thing, but it was enough to, photograph and to provide like some inspiration on the Craft Stash website. So it all worked out. Hooray! If you would like to see more of my crafty projects, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Instagram at Janette Lane Blog. Just wanted to thank you so very much for following along and watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in a video really soon. Bye!